Welcome to another episode of Justen versus Justen. We're live on Facebook if you haven't figured it out.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
We have no one watching because it's late.
Yeah, it is kind of late for Facebook. I think most people are crushing candy as we speak.
People are... What?
Is Candy Crush not still a thing?
Yeah.
What do people do? Is Mafia War still going?
I think people actually just snort cocaine these days.
Oh.
They got rid of from the addictive games and just went straight to drugs. Well, actually, I'm joking. Kids are eating the Tide Pods right now. So.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, too. We go from bath salts and... What's the other one? Jankum?
It's just really bad when Tide has to come out and say, we're going to make Tide Pods less appealing to children.
They should take the hint from Camel cigarettes.
All right. So we're here with a full spoiler.
Spoiler!
That's
right. So we're going to tell you the nitty-gritty of what happened, what went down, what didn't happen, what should have happened, what we liked, what we didn't like, and
everything related to the Black Panther. Rawr.
Yes. Okay. So if you have gotten this far, you've probably seen our spoiler-free episode, and you know that we liked the movie. You know that I rated it an A.
I gave it a B+.
Okay. And on that, there's certain things that I liked that maybe Justen with an E didn't pick up on, like the soundtrack. So we'll get into the plot. Why don't you start us off with the plot a little bit?
Okay. So if I'm going to take it if you... my computer died, so...
It happens.
I have to remember this off the top of my head, which is just horrible. Alright, so the movie's centered around T'Challa, who is the Black Panther. He's getting set to take over for his father, who passed away in Avengers Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm. No, Civil War.
Civil War?
Yeah.
Was it Civil War? Okay, Civil War. Sorry, I'm getting my Avengers movies.
That's what I'm here for.
He's the brains.
I'm
the looks, he's the brains.
Now I can't.
That's the scary part.
You're as smart as you are handsome. Hey!
Well, anyway, his father has passed away, and so he is getting ready to take over the throne. So the movie starts out with basically he goes back to Wakanda, which is a very technologically advanced place, where the king oversees basically 4 tribes. And basically those 4 tribes get a chance to kind of step up and see if they want to fight him for the chance to be king themselves. He kicks everybody's ass naturally, and they go about their day, and he's Black Panther, chasing basically the man that stole all their vibranium. Yeah,
so with this, many, many years ago, a meteor hit the Earth, and it was full of vibranium, which is an otherworldly metal that Captain America's shield is made of. It is the hardest strongest known metal. We're not getting into the adamantium thing here because it's not that, but it's different. It's got different properties to it. So basically, it absorbs kinetic energy, and it causes energy. And every single person who is from Wakanda or Wakanda's descent has a little tattoo with the vibranium in it on the inside of their lip, right? And it's how they tell each other apart. So that kind of comes in down the road when it gets to be very, very important.
Yes.
But we start off the movie in 1991 or 2, I think 2.
92.
92 in Oakland, California. And we see, I believe his name's Sterling, right? He's the guy who is a very famous actor right now on TV's This Is Us.
Yes.
So Marvel picked one of the hottest guys on TV right now to play the brother of T'Chaka, who is the current Black Panther. And he's there, and they're planning some sort of insurrection or something like that.
Well, basically, he's been there for so long. He's kind of radicalized this idea because back in Wakanda, everything is great, everything is fantastic. They shut out the outside world. So he has gone to the United States, and he has seen how bad basically the African American society has it there. Mm-hmm. And so he's kind of thinking, I'll bring Wakanda's technological advances to the real world, so that way everybody's on the level playing field and everything else. And basically T'Chaka finds out and doesn't seem too keen on this.
Yeah, and I mean he's got like M16s and like weapons and maps and things like that. And he's got like a faithful sidekick named James or Jimmy or something.
Oh, I think
and he was there to kind of help him. And you look at him and he just looks like a street punk or something like that. Someone who's not too intelligent or anything along those lines. Well, it turns out, you see a spaceship coming in, a friggin' spaceship. In 1992, it just goes to show how far advanced from the rest of the world that, the nation of Wakanda is. Because they figured out how to make, these hover ships and all that are powered on vibranium, and it's crazy. And they actually have a hologram that holds their entire nation to look like a giant forest.
Yes.
So it's pretty crazy. But this becomes a big scene when they actually come back to it to tell you what happened. So we could probably move on and then just tell you what happens.
Yes.
But basically, Black Panther, the king, T'Chaka, T'Challa's father, comes in, meets his brother, and tells him that they need to go home. And is this the time we find out about James, or is that later?
That's later.
That's later, okay. All right, so that's what happens. Then it goes on to the regular movie. And that gets into where Justin's saying of where they do kind of like this big, like all the tribes come in and they're on a waterfall and they have to challenge the Black Panther who's been depowered.
Yeah, they stripped the Black Panther's powers away from him, so he's just an average Joe. Mm-hmm. And yeah, everybody has the chance to fight him for their spot at the throne. But
everybody loves him. They respect his father. They respect him. They know he's a good leader, so they don't want to fight him.
Yep.
So until the mountain tribe of the ape people, they come down and this dude's like, "Oh, I'm gonna challenge you," and he goes at it with T'Challa. So and it's kind of a back and forth, and you have like a whole group of the entourage are getting closer with spears every time. But at the end, I mean, we kind of know what's going to happen. T'Challa wins. He perseveres. Okay, good. Lesson learned. Everybody's going to salute him as his king, and then you're going to go forward. So
yes. He basically stays king, and we move forward in the story for a little bit because they're chasing after a man named Ulysses. What's his last name?
Claw.
Claw. That's it. I'm blank there. So they're after Ulysses Claw, and they end up almost catching him. They catch him for a split second. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're also kind of introduced to Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah, and this is where some of the characters we talked about in the spoiler-free episode.
Yes.
Shuri, his sister, who's kind of the tech expert, she has all these great things for him, like these beads that are let out electromagnetic pulses. His entire suit is kept in his necklace. Yeah. And he has a suit that absorbs. It's made interwoven with vibranium. Yes. It absorbs kinetic energy.
It actually kind of charges it up.
It does, and it can send it back. Yeah. It lights up like purple. I think.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
These little purple.
The suit is
veins
awesome.
kind of going through it.
It is definitely one of the sleeker costumes that I've ever seen, and it's awesome. So even the helmet comes in there. Yeah. So and basically he is Batman and Iron Man and Spider-Man all kind of mixed into one.
Yes.
So.
It introduces you to a few characters.
You get to see really what they can do with their technology.
I'm trying to think of their names. What's the girlfriend's name? The one.
Oh, yeah.
My laptop unfortunately died. Now I'm trying to think of names.
There's this girl, and it's the Lupita
Nyong'o.
Yeah. The one that she plays, and she's kind of like his love interest and all that. That's a thing in the movie. Like,
he wants her to be queen.
Yeah, and she's not into it because she wants to outreach and she wants to help other people.
Yes.
She understands the plight of women in Africa specifically because they're getting taken as slaves, and this is like human trafficking. They're not talking about something that happened 400 years ago.
No.
They're talking about something that's happening right now. And she's like, "Look, you need to save these people around us. It's our duty." And he's not so sure.
Yeah, and so it introduces to her his mother, who's played by none other than the fantastic
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. I was thinking Tina Turner in my head.
How did she get her groove back?
Because unfortunately I'm thinking Tina Turner because I sent her a message earlier.
Yeah, she played
describing the
Tina
movie where I was like, James Brown fought Johnny Storm and Tina Turner and Bilbo Baggins were there. Yeah, so but Angela Bassett. And you're also introduced to Forrest Whitaker's character.
Forrest Whitaker's character, yep. He's like a high priest. He conducts the coronation for T'Challa. And he's got kind of like a war paint thing going on.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker does fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
And definitely a step up from the Star Wars, because the Star Wars was just...
Can you even think of what you saw him in before Star Wars?
Let's see. Not anything recently.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him in a while. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of anything kind of recently.
I liked him in Species.
He hasn't really been around since the 90s, but does fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he was in The Butler. I did not see The Butler.
Ah, yes, he was in The Butler. That was actually a good movie.
Was it a good movie?
It was a good movie.
I didn't see it. So
it's kind of a sad movie, but a very good movie.
Oh. I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't look like something that interests me. So I'm like, oh yeah, Butler at the White House. I don't care. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then so we're introduced to him along with I can't think of his name right now. I'm drawing blanks. This is a horrible review because I can't remember the name.
I want to introduce
from Get Out.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Daniel something.
It's Daniel.
We had it. We literally had it.
Kayinga.
Yeah. And you said that was a good movie. I have yet to see it.
Get Out is a good movie. Even got him nominated, I believe, for an Oscar or an Academy Award.
Did it get him out?
I don't know. Actually, the movie's Get Out was directed by Jordan Peele.
I heard
Out of all things,
right?
yeah. A horror movie. Well, kind of a horror movie. Suspense more.
I saw a meme about that, so I'm like, okay, I kind of get what's going on here. So, but yeah.
So yeah, he plays T'Challa's kind of best friend. He's a prince of another tribe.
Yeah. And they're all kind of...
I'll be honest though, his character is just kind of a wimp almost, because he just goes with whatever the king says.
He has an interesting sort of thing about him where it's like he's gonna back T'Challa, but then all of a sudden he doesn't, and it doesn't quite make sense. And then it's like he becomes like a henchman, and it doesn't quite add up. So then at the end, when he kind of recants and doesn't want to be a henchman anymore, it's like, all right, I get it.
But his love interest in the movie is none other than Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
her character in this movie, badass, strong female role. Honestly, I could probably watch a movie with just her.
And it's funny, too, because you say strong female, and I'm like, strong female, my ass. She could have kicked T'Challa's ass.
I think,
with powers. She could have beaten the shit.
She was badass in this movie. Like I said, I think she should have her own movie.
Man, she was badass. So
she was. I mean, her spear. She was kick ass with that spear.
Telescoped out and
she's fucking stopping cars and stuff with it. She was badass in this movie.
It was a vibranium spear, so it was pretty cool. So let's see. So they coordinate him, and they introduce to all the tribes, and the fight takes place between the king of the mountain tribe. You know, it's like they worship apes instead of worshiping panthers and all that. And to me, one of my favorite characters in the movie. I frickin' love that guy. He's so damn funny.
Yeah, the guy who plays like the king of the ape people.
They do this whole thing like 300. You know, the haru. You know, it's like every time you know, doing like a whole thing like gorillas and all that, and I'm like, I'm freaking loving this, man. Yeah, you know, it was cool.
And he starts the movie. You think he's this just kind of asshole.
Yeah, you think he's like Skeletor or something.
Yeah, he's up in the mountains. And he just wants to take over as king. And
we're like, I'm gonna watch that guy because he's gonna be problems.
Yeah, and then later in the movie, you get to learn something different. And you go, okay.
And so after this, they go to Korea and they try to find Claw. Yes. And they run into Bilbo Baggins.
Yes.
They catch Claw briefly, right?
Yes, they're at a casino because Bilbo Baggins there. He's sorry, that's how we're going to refer him to. I forget his character in the movie actually.
Yeah,
I just think of it as
Ross.
Bilbo. Yeah, Ross.
Everett Ross.
Yes, Everett Ross. That is it. But they're at like an underground Chinese casino because he's working for the CIA and he plans to buy this old vibranium. I should say, earlier in the movie we are introduced to a character that we aren't sure what his name is.
Exactly,
yet.
We're not sure.
He's a young African American male, and he's all of a sudden he knows what vibranium is. He's at a museum
in London. Yeah, they're looking at some artifacts from African culture.
Yeah, and he's asking where it's from, and this lady's, it's from this tribe, that tribe, and he goes, no, you're wrong, that's vibranium. And she just kind of has this look on his face like, how do you know? Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of introduced to Michael B. Jordan that way.
Yeah, and I mean, he is, like, you see him and, you know, there's nothing else in the room. You are friggin' looking at Michael Jordan because he's just talking and you're like, oh, what's he going to do? The dude was charismatic as hell. And I mean, I've seen him in Creed, and we were talking about Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him, but I mean, really good. Was
Mike-
he in Chronicle?
Oh, I don't think
I thought
so.
he was the guy in Chronicle. Well, I don't know, but I liked Chronicle.
Oh, hey,
So-
Ryan, what's going on?
What up, dude?
You get a shout out on YouTube because we're filming. So
But yeah, so Michael B. Jordan shows up, steals the friggin' show, and he
if you haven't watched Black Panther, turn it off.
he starts finding a way to steal this vibranium, and he brings in Claw, and Claw is just being like this over the top villain. It's like, hey, you come here. He's like, no, you can go. He's just like going crazy, like shooting people. And he's like, no, it's better to spread out the crime scene. May make you think that you're an amateur.
Yeah.
So it was nuts, and we see that this guy Eric Killmonger, who he's called, he's very smart. He knows how to get what he needs to get done, and he's the other villain that we kind of are introduced to at this point.
Yes, and so yeah, it kind of brings us up to speed. But now that we've gotten to the point where the tribesmen have now fought, and T'Challa has regained the throne of king, since he was kind of rightfully there. They kind of put him into this deep slumber. To kind of get to his ancestors and talk to his dead father.
Yep.
And that's where we're introduced to the backstory of Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, yeah, because he has to imbibe this thing called the heart-shaped herb, which I swear to God, there's like an infinity stone underneath there.
Yeah.
That's my take on it, because they're glowing purple, like the soul stone that has not shown up yet in the MCU. So they give him that, and they bury him in this red clay.
Yeah.
And they bury all the way up to the face and all that, and then he goes to the land of the ancestors, and he sees this big tree, and in the tree there's all these panther ghosts. Then one jumps out, and it's his father.
Yeah. And, his father's talking to him and telling him, about being king and all that, and how to be a great king. So, also in...
It is very
this.
Lion King. Like this part, it goes to a different sort of direction, but I mean, it's like you can't help but watch it and think of like Simba and Mufasa there, in a sense. It's like, I mean, seriously, like that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, they kind of went there.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I get it, but you get into a little bit of friction there with him and his dead father, because he finds out his uncle was really, this subversive sort of thing, but he was trying to plan this worldwide revolution with Wakanda tech. And Panther, like T'Chaka, had to stop him. And to stop him, he killed him. But he killed him because he was betrayed by Jimmy, the little toady guy that was with his brother, who turned out to be
Forrest Whitaker's
character. And we're like, what?
Yep, and as they show kind of the ship flying away, it pans down to this kid playing basketball in the street.
And guess who the kid is?
And the kid grows up to be none other than Killmonger.
That's right.
Michael B. Jordan.
And Killmonger is just a name that he got because he spent time in the military racking up kills. And with every kill, he gave himself like some sort of tribal tattoo. So like all over him, he's got like these embossed tattoos. So I think it's I don't know anything about him other than just like he has like these bumps on him.
Well, he's actually a CIA operative. He's
was
a Marine and all that.
Okay.
Because he does
Special
show up.
ops and-
Yeah, he does show up with Claw. He kills Claw.
Yeah.
Shoots him dead. And then shows up at the basically Wakanda's doorstep with Claw's body in hand, and
that was his ticket to get into Wakanda, and that's where he turns over the Daniel character that we were talking about, the guy from Get Out, because his big thing is Claw killed my family in like the 80s in a disco or something. I don't know, but
disco, good.
Hello, Turkey.
Sorry, Turkey. Not number one anymore.
So yeah, and I mean after that, he doesn't want to hear a damn word that T'Challa has to say. Well, Jordan shows up and he's got this ring, and it's a ring of royal blood, royal birth. So he exercises his right to challenge. So the movie obviously wouldn't have gone on if T'Challa didn't accept the challenge, but he did. He did, and it's like, if you think about it, and you realize you're like, yeah, this guy probably has a bit more experience and all that, but he's a young cocksure gentleman. He's gonna see and try to impress
cocksure?
He's cocksure. He thinks he's bloody cock of the walk.
He's a cocksure fella, that one there.
That's right. That's what they say about youngsters that
He's
walk
quite
around.
spry.
Yeah, he is spry. He's a panther.
He's got a pep in his step. I like that one. He's going places.
He's like that guy with the pants and the thing. I don't know that.
But
I got
anyway.
Rory Calhoun.
So he challenges T'Challa to the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And in this scene, Michael B. Jordan he kills it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing except for there's not all the bunch of tribes that are here. And it's Michael B. Jordan in a depowered T'Challa. So, and I guess we keep calling him Michael B. Jordan, but it's Killmonger.
Yeah, he's Killmonger.
He's Killmonger. And everyone's like, oh, T'Challa's going to win. But no, he doesn't win. And he gets thrown. He gets after the truth comes out, he's got T'Challa says, oh, this is what happened. This is who he is. And he's like, tell him who I am. And we find out that James, Forrest Whitaker's character, says, no, I'm the one responsible because you lived a life alone and all that. Because it was me, I gave you up. I was the spy. And he kills him. So Killmonger kills him. And then that gives T'Challa this little burst of energy, makes some mistakes with his rage, and he gets thrown, like literally picked up, and gets his ass thrown off of a waterfall.
And you think he's gone.
To be continued.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah, so obviously he's going to survive.
Yeah. Well, then, so basically then you have his mom, his sister, and his little lady friend there.
His lady friend, yep, because Okoye will not betray the crown.
Yeah,
she will not.
She serves the throne.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. She is loyal to a fault.
Yeah,
and she understands she doesn't have to like it, but that's how it is.
So they all kind of go up in the mountains to basically the 8 people.
Including Martin Freeman, Everett Ross.
Bilbo Baggins makes a journey up a mountain, go figure.
You know what we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about the scene in which they had Bilbo Baggins sitting across from Gollum. And he was interrogating him and all that. And it's like, you're just sitting there and you can't help but to be like, God damn.
Where's the ring?
My precious.
And that one time that, you get Andy Serkis laughing and you hear Gollum, and it's just, I geeked out, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
But,
I think I did that Family Guy. So
anyway, they go up the mountain to talk to basically the 8 people and the King of the Apes.
Yeah, and it's not what you expect because Killmonger goes through the Black Panther ceremony, and he gets the heart-shaped herb, and he gets the powers and all that, and he says, burn them all, so no one else, there'll be no Panthers after me. But, is it Nayade, or, I don't know her name, but the Lupita character,
yes.
She goes in, and she steals one of them, so she's got the herb, and she's going to give it to the ape guy, so his army will help them overthrow the Black Panther. Yeah, because that'll friggin' happen.
Because what Michael B. Jordan wants to do, he goes in, he wants to just kind of change their complete way of life. He wants to introduce Wakanda to the world.
He's done. He says that there are my brothers and sisters all over the world who are being oppressed, who need to fight back. And, we're going to arm them and give them everything they can, so now no longer anybody is going to push them around. So, to a point, he's not wrong, because he's talking about how Wakanda has all this great technology. They have all these great ways that people live, and there's no crime and pestilence and hunger and all that. They have a great society, but they don't share it. They don't outreach. They don't help their fellow man. So not just black or white or any other different colors or anything like that. They don't help anybody, and it's wrong. And that's what his point is. So he does not go about it in the right way. So it's very Magneto.
Yeah.
But he's not wrong.
No. And Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, does such a great job of selling this character because in the scenes that he's in, you almost feel for the protagonist there. Usually in the protagonist, you're just going, he's a bad guy, I want him to die. This one, you kind of feel for him because he was this orphan child.
Yeah.
Didn't know where he really belonged in the world. And, you get the backstory and all that. And all he really wants to do is kind of bring everything to the world to help the world out and everything. And you sit there and you almost feel for him. You almost kind of want him to, be king, but he's just a little over cocky. So you're kind of like, you're kind of a cocky asshole.
He's not refined. He's rough. He speaks very very short, and it's like, oh yeah, bro, we're gonna do, like he'll be like that, like using slang terms and all that.
He's a street kid from Oakland. He talks like a street kid from Oakland.
I couldn't think of the word, but I'm like, yeah. So as opposed to like the refined king that T'Challa was trained to be his entire life. So there's a dichotomy between the two, and they're very different. Yeah. They diverge big time.
Yeah. So while Killmonger's kind of overtaking Wakanda and making it what he wants to be, so everybody else is kind of against that. They go up to see basically the king and prince of the apes.
Yeah.
And page manager's not responding. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Well, what happened?
Technical difficulties while we're filming. We have filming going inside the filming.
It's very meta.
We had 2 people too. Now they're gone. We got up to 2. I don't know who the second one was.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe someone from Turkey.
Come back!
Someone from Turkey.
Turkey, number 1 show.
Do you have your gold chains?
Alright.
So you were talking about how they went up to the mountains.
Yes, and
they were trying to get the army because they want his army.
Yeah, they want him to overtake him. They'd rather have him than Killmonger be in charge. So they offer him the herb, and he just kind of sits there and goes, "I have something to show you." And he takes him down, and what does he have stored in snow?
Oh, yeah. He's got T'Challa's body.
T'Challa's body.
He's still
chilling,
alive.
frigid in snow.
Yep.
And so and they're saying why. And you find out that even though in the beginning of the movie you think this guy's just a horrible kind of villain type character, he actually cares about Wakanda.
He's an honorable guy.
Yeah.
At the end of it, he honors the
life for a life.
He honors a life for a life. He doesn't like it. He feels that his tribe has gotten the short end of the stick for the entire existence of Wakanda. But they clearly have some of the technology. When you see, it's like he's got this really cool place with like skulls hanging and like sticks hanging, and it's like an architectural digest.
I know.
It's pretty crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, when you're watching, you're like, wow, he really outdid himself in the design of this building.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. He was one of my favorite characters throughout the movie. I thought he was so cool. And, they look at T'Challa and they try to save him with that heart-shaped herb.
Yep.
And he comes out of it after going on another spirit quest. Because the mother's like, bury him in the snow. And he goes back to talk to his father. And what his father has to tell him, because he's angry with his father. He's like, how could you do this? How could you kill your own brother? How could you do all this stuff? And he goes, look, I was wrong. I did what I thought was right, and it wasn't right. And he's like, I'm not perfect, but that was the king that I was. We had many years of peace, and we had this. He's like, now it's your turn to write the story. You can fix this and go back and fix my mistake. And, it kind of puts that weight on his shoulders. And Shuri was able to save one thing. She saved the necklace.
Yes.
So she was able to get him his Black Panther outfit.
Yes.
So now they have to formulate a plan. But the king of the ape people, he says, no, that's it. He's like, I'm not going to help you anymore. And they try to leverage him. After he's going to come for you, he's like, let him come then. I got nothing to worry about. He's like, I repaid a debt. That was it. You guys are on your own. So they send him out. You've got Shuri. You've got Everett Ross, who we find out was a pilot. You've got not Okoye, what's her name? The Lupita character.
Yeah.
And they're all going to war. So there's basically 3 or 4 people, and they're trying to stop Killmonger's plan to send weapons and advanced technology to places, sleeper agents all around the world.
Yeah, they're sending them to London, New York, all those, to really just shake some shit up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you see these ships are loading up and they're getting ready to take off, and one of them goes down, and you're like, oh snap, what's going to go on?
What happened?
Black Panther shows up.
It's the Black Panther.
T'Challa shows up, and he's like, nah,
well,
but guarding it.
What does he get to fight?
He gets to fight everybody.
A battle rhino.
Yes, because the prince...
the gatekeepers, right?
Yeah, they have rhinos with vibranium covered in vibranium, and
they're like super huge rhinos, not like the rhinos that you see like Ace Ventura 2 coming out of the butthole of. No, these are like giant rhinos.
The butt scene from Ace Ventura.
It's not. These aren't Ace Ventura 2 butt rhinos. These are giant rhinos with like big ass horns and all that. So
no butt rhinos.
That's the title of the episode. No butt rhinos.
So Bilbo Baggins' job is to shoot down the planes that have taken off.
And he's using some of the technology that means he does not actually have to be in a ship that's stolen. So he's not in the ship. So if the ship gets shot down, he doesn't die. Anything along those lines, he doesn't have to get out. He's in this sort of, I don't know, like a little cockpit or something made out of sand.
Yeah, it's like a vibranium type of cockpit. It kind of just appears and wraps around him.
That's pretty cool. So, and Shuri set it up for him, and his job is to basically save the world.
Yeah.
Which is essentially like if you forget everything else about this character, he's the one who is tasked with doing the thing that means the most in the movie, and I'm just saying that. So
yeah, he's keeping everybody in Wakanda hidden.
Yeah,
that's his job.
Yeah,
but. So everybody then kind of turns on Killmonger, who's in his own Black Panther suit. He's got the gold outline.
So he's got a different Black Panther suit because he went in there and he got his own.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be Black Panther versus Black Panther, both powered up, both with suits.
But let's get to the cool part. Then Michonne finally kind of clicks in.
She does.
I keep calling her Michonne.
Yep, and she switches back sides, and now she's going to help because she sees T'Challa. And T'Challa says, he's like, no, this battle's not done. You can see I'm not dead.
Yeah, he challenges him for the throne, basically.
So that brings her a little loophole where it's like if she supports tradition and she supports the crown, she can't just go with Killmonger.
Yeah.
She has to wait for the challenge, but he's not having any of the challenges. He's like, no, we're done with that. So it's like, okay, so he doesn't have this honor. So she flips on him, and then she goes after all.
Yeah, let's talk about these women guardsmen.
The Dora.
They turn.
So, if I'm remembering this correctly, T'Challa has made it to the island of misfit toys. And he's upset because none of them want to play with Black Panther.
The things we edit out of our shows.
Oh my god! So we're getting towards the final battle here. And it is going to be It's going to come down to Killmonger versus T'Challa, and the only way that they can actually have a fight where they can damage each other is if they go down to the vibranium mine, and they fight in a very Gandalf versus the Balrog. I hit him and he hit me, and together we fell, and I threw him and he threw me until finally we hit this water and died.
I can't stop laughing.
It was very.
I'm picturing Cornelius.
Who?
Cornelius from the Rudolph.
Oh yeah, you got Cornelius. He's like Silver.
I'm just picturing this little animated character while they're fighting, kind of waddle across.
Is he throwing his pickaxe up and he's like vibranium?
Oh, I can't stop laughing at something so stupid. Oh,
Yukon, Wakanda. Yeah.
I stumbled upon Wakanda when I was looking for silver and gold.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, honestly, it's a... Yeah.
They have vibranium. I gave some to Rudolph.
That's what's making my nose red.
Oh.
I forget what point we're at in the movie. Yukon Cornelius showed up. And they're fighting. They're fighting on the train.
Yeah.
They're fighting on the train.
Oh, you have to bring him up again.
I'm sorry.
Silver!
You're going to have to put his graphic in here now. That's right. Black Panther, the story of how Yukon Cornelius discovered vibranium. And it's so good. And this movie is actually, like...
I don't know why people are saying it was so good. I went to the theater and had it to myself.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was the only person in there.
Did you go at like 10 a.m.?
I went at 10 p.m. actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
I had the big giant theater all to myself.
Wow. IMAX?
It was like a private showing. I sat in the front row. I put my feet up. I took my pants off.
Oh, so it was like an Al Bundy screening?
I did. I put the armrests up on the chairs.
No pig.
I said, "Don't act like you're not impressed."
Was that like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy?
That's kind of a weird, like Batman Anchorman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Voice so smooth he can make it.
Oh man! If you could see it, just like when he's reeling back in his chair, choking on a fucking cookie.
I haven't had another cookie yet. This is just me choking because he goes super.
Oh my god!
And I'm picturing like Cornelius in the background.
He got me last week when we were doing voices, and he just hit that freaking Arnold so perfectly, and I'm like sitting in my chair trying not to piss myself. I'm like, oh my god!
How great would it be if Arnold showed up in the movie
as the bad guy?
Like, you know what? You have a rhino. I have a tank, and then get to the chopper.
And when I hear it, like my voice goes to everything that's ever had that voice before, and I'm thinking of the dog from Tiny Toons. You know, it's like bustin' Babs. You know, it's like
out of everything, you go to the dog from Tiny Toons.
Well, I mean, he had Arnold's voice, but
he did.
You know, because I don't know. It's fucked up, man.
It's just fucked
up. I
up.
don't know.
Like Michael Caine's movies.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know why we're on a Michael Caine kick lately.
Oh, sugar cane.
All right, so back to they're fighting on the train tracks, and the little arms come up and it strips their suits away.
And that's the thing. Shuri had invented this to actually keep the vibranium from making noise and like destroying things because it generates power. So when they put up these fields, it actually negates all the powers of that.
It
so
kind of even keels it so that way it doesn't explode.
Which is still kind of silly because they both like have the powers and the enhanced senses and the reflexes and all that. So it's like they still have superpowers, but they don't have super suits.
Yeah.
Okay. So now it's still like Spider-Man versus Spider-Man, but there's no web shooters.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're fighting down there, in the vibranium. I can't talk now.
Yep.
So they're down there talking, and not down there talking. They're down there fighting.
Yeah, they're fighting.
I'm sorry,
and
folks. My brain's dead now.
Killmonger's fighting with like a broken off piece of vibranium spear and all that, and like some sort of war club, and they're going at it. And I mean, you got two elite warriors going at each other, beating the hell out of each other, trying to kill each other.
But this brings up one of the scenes in the movie that I did not like. Okay. And that's when they're free falling and fighting. It reminded me of Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. We're going
Spider-Man versus Venom.
Okay.
The third one.
I thought of Lord of the Rings, so I was.
So I thought of Spider-Man. That fight scene where Spider-Man and Venom are falling and they're fighting while they're falling. Mm-hmm. That's what this fight scene looked like.
Do you think you fall faster if you're throwing punches, or is it like the laws of physics still apply, where like two items will fall at the same period, or if you're like, you're like accelerating yourself?
If you would like, I will find a homeless man that you can fight, and I'll push you guys off a building.
I will take you up on that. I will absolutely. I remember bum fights, right? You remember bum fights?
Yeah, I remember bum fights.
Hell yeah, man! I'm not a proud man. A win's a win. I'm not the friggin' Black Panther, obviously.
No. So,
let's talk about it.
While they're fighting down, in the pit, the vibranium pit. Yep. Let's talk about the fight outside. That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Because basically, the monkey tribe comes down.
Yep.
And
so
they said they weren't going to come at all.
They said they weren't going to show, and they end up showing up. And they are here, and they're kicking ass, and they're chewing gum, and they're all out of freaking gum, man.
Yeah, they're kicking ass, and these rhinos are going around kicking people's asses. The women guards are kicking ass.
Yeah, and it's kind of evenly matched.
And it pauses because the rhino's charging, and I'll keep calling her Michonne because I love Walking Dead as well.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, she stands there, and the rhino stops because it knows her. Mm-hmm. Just gives her a big old lick. And her boyfriend, the prince, gets off, and they're getting ready to fight. And even he was like, "Would you kill me for what?" And she goes, "For Wakanda, yes." And she gets ready to kill him.
Dude, she didn't blink. She didn't blink, and it's like I think my butthole puckered a little bit when I saw that. I was like, "Oh
ooh,
shit,
that's a lady!"
And he looked in her eyes, and he saw that, and I think he's just like, "Okay." And he gets off.
He did like any married man ever. When you see that look in your wife's eyes, you go, "Okay, I'm good."
The dude was done, and he gets down, and it was very matter of fact because she had a spear in his throat, but she gave him a chance, and he throws his weapon down, so some sort of like cleft blade or something like that, and he just throws it down, and then the other people are looking, they're pissed because they wanted to support Killmonger to go and give aid to the people of the rest of the world. They wanted to do that. They're like, yes, we should be doing that. We will go out and fight them because these guys were good. They were warriors. They were trained. They wanted to use their training, and they wanted to go out and stop people like the human traffickers or like ivory dealers or something like that. Like they wanted to go out and stop those people. So they had nothing but the best of intentions, but they knew that Killmonger was not a great person. But they really liked his message.
Yeah, and then it goes right back down to the pit there of them fighting, and T'Challa, the train goes by, their suits strip away, and they go back to fighting, and he gets the spear and just right into Killmonger.
And the coolest thing about Killmonger, he goes, oh, cool move. And it's like he's got a fucking spear in him. And
I'm
it's
not gonna lie.
Stuck in him. It's like jammed the way in.
In this point of the movie, I did chuckle a little because in my mind, I'm thinking of the Family Guy episode where they're in prison and the guy's going to stab him and he sits down and he stabs himself and he goes, "Ow! Is that what it feels like? Is that what I've been doing to people?"
That's where you went. I would have thought of like the chicken fight where he's like fighting epically.
No, I'm thinking of the prison scene. Yeah, the guy is getting ready to stab.
I belong in here.
Yeah, and he stabs me. Oh, that's what I've been doing to people.
He's like, come here and sign this on the back of Tony's ass.
Like I'm just picturing Killmonger like that. Like, oh, that's what I've been doing to all
I
these
thought
people?
of him a little bit like Victor Zsasz. In a sense, because like whenever he would kill someone, he would make that mark on his body. So he was kind of like that sort of character. He's like this big amalgamation of like all these villains. Like he's got Magneto in him. He's got that tragic story with like this. The end justifies the means.
Let's bring up, since he's got the marks all over his body, a movie that we talked about in our first podcast.
Frighteners.
Yes. My body is a roadmap.
Jake Busey.
That wasn't Jake Busey.
Jake Busey was the bad guy. You said that at the same time too, because I quote Jake Busey. So.
He was in it, but
he was. Yeah,
I forgot the weird guy's name. We talked about it last.
Yeah,
time.
We totally do. Did that record? I don't know.
Yeah, it was in the first one. That was that nice Star Wars episode that got us a lot of views. Number 1 in Turkey.
Yeah, we'll mention Star Wars again because
Star Wars,
Black Panther. That's the name of this episode.
Star Wars.
Justin versus Justin talk about Star Wars versus Black Panther. So Star Wars was a movie, and so was Black Panther. There, now I fulfilled my contractual.
Justin versus Justin brought to you by Star Wars.
We are absolute whores for hits.
I will not bow down to any sponsor. Yes.
Did I mention Star Wars?
It is the choice of a faraway generation.
Well, hello, Roman. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. All right, so we're finishing up Black Panther.
Yeah, we're talking about. This is a spoiler episode, so if you're just joining us on Facebook, if you haven't seen Black Panther yet, that's what we're talking about. Okay, good. So,
all right, we caught you up to speed. It's a movie. It's good,
Yeah. So we're talking about it. We're at the just about end of it. So at this point, Killmonger has been stabbed.
Yes.
So T'Challa brings him to the one thing that his father was. was
we caught that, Ryan.
Yeah. So T'Challa brings him up to see what his father, what Killmonger's father told him about Wakanda, is that it has the most beautiful sunrises in the world, or sunsets.
And that's totally Lion King right there.
Yeah, it's another. And it's very, very much like that. So he takes him up there, and they talk, and they're trying to talk it out. And you see T'Challa change a little bit to gain the perspective of his enemy. Yeah. And Killmonger, you think that he's going to change too. But he just sits there and he goes, no, I'm good. And he pulls out the spear and he just dies there in his hand. And it's like this guy was so deep in his convictions that he was correct, that his way of thinking was right, and that he was going to do that. And he lived and he achieved so much. And you couldn't help but think that this guy could have been friggin' great, if he could just change the way he thought to make his message come across in like a less violent manner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in that sense, he changed T'Challa. He changed it because it's like, now I'm going to do things differently. Killmonger showed us the way, but he had to die to do so. It was crazy. At least that's the way I took it. I took it like deep as hell. Like, I'm like, this is deep as hell.
And then from the dark recesses of the tunnel here, Silver! Silver!
Yukon Cornelius showed up. Oh. But in the meantime, so Martin Freeman is in there. He's he's gonna, stop all these ships. He stopped them all but one. But one of the ships has gone in and it's shooting at him, and it's gonna kill him in this cockpit if he stays. But he stays because he's a good guy. He's a hero and all that, right? Well, I mean, anticlimactic in the sense that he gets out before anything happens and all that. But he does. He stops all the ships and all that. He gets the M&Ms, and Ozzy goes on stage, and everyone has a great show.
I need about 5,000 brown M&Ms.
He killed the Bengal tiger. But so that happens. Everything's done. They're
He
at the
played
end.
Killmonger
They
to
get back
death
the
with
end.
his own shoes.
The wonderful thing about this is that now you get to the point where T'Challa talks to his girlfriend, the one that he wants to be queen, and she wants to go out and help the world. He's like, we're going to help the world. And probably one of my favorite parts of the movie is where they go out and they show up in not New York. They show up in Oakland, and you don't know what the fuck's going on. You're like, what's going on here? That's the building. What's going on? You see that it's condemned and all that, and the kids are playing in a basketball hoop now, and he's looking. He's like, you see that? That's where our uncle was killed. Why you gotta be here? Because that's like what she sounds like, and and she's this is like adorable.
Well, the best part is when the spaceship shows up, the kids talk about stripping it and selling it.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
Almost like Irish accent and kind of.
I don't be thinking you should be doing that, mate. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
If he was alive, can we just say for a minute, if he was alive, I would have loved Bernie Mac to be in this movie. Like, T'Challa. Yeah.
What would he play? Forrest Whitaker's role?
Oh, you're going to be the king here. Yeah.
Your Bernie Mac is horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. He just kind of grumbles at people. All my impressions are horrible.
Yes, they are.
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac, you got a cigar? Then come on. You got to see the T'Chaka.
T'Chaka.
So we're just finishing up our spoiler review of Black Panther. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to turn off. But
Silver.
so we were talking about Yukon Cornelius earlier from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and he is not in this movie. But again, going back to my favorite part of this is kind of where T'Challa realizes that it's not been just the whites oppressing blacks. That it's like a circumstance where they need to come together as a community and help each other instead of harming each other. And he talks about, he's like, I bought that building, I bought that building, I bought that building, and this we're going to make a center. And then he gets Shuri, and Shuri is going to stay there, and she's going to help the community. And it's like, holy crap. And it blew my mind because it's like, yes, finally, they're not trying to separate everybody and say, oh, white people are bad to black people, and that's all that happened. It's like, no, everybody's bad to everybody.
Yes,
and we're going to get everybody
dissect.
together. So they're going to get out, and they're going to help the world. And I was friggin' all about it. I was like, yeah! And they're like, sit down, Justen. I'm like, all right, sorry.
So, yeah, then we fast forward to the scene, the ending credit scene, the one that I did watch.
United Nations, and T'Challa shows up with Okoye and
what will a bunch of farmers do for the world?
So they have all this time perpetuated this notion because they have this giant hologram that shows that they are just farmers, but it doesn't show like their awesome city that looks like freaking Krypton. It looks like an advanced human civilization, so it's pretty awesome. And they're just skeptical. They're like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And then at the end you see, to zoom in, he smiles, because they know.
And then you said there was another one after that.
There is another one.
I thought there was only one, so I watched that
two.
one, and then I got up and left.
So the second one, I'm gonna spoil this for all y'all that didn't see it. Okay, so you see kids, and the kids are looking. They're looking at someone. They're like, oh, who is it? Ha 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 ha. Then you see someone comes out. The kids run out, and they're like, are you still pestering that man? And you see who it is. It's frickin' Bucky Barnes. Bucky Barnes comes out, and he's got like a loincloth or like some sort of like traditional like African clothing wrapped on him, and you see he's missing his whole arm. He comes out, he's got his long hair, looking like Mark Hamill with long hair and all that, and he's just looking out over the friggin' lake or something like that, and that's it. There's not much there, but you're like, oh, he's not in suspended animation. So, because the last time we saw Bucky, he was in the end credit sequence of Civil War,
Yeah.
where he's like, "Put me back in until I can figure my shit out" or something, you know, because he's part of that Russian super soldier thing.
Silver, gold, put you in the abominable snowman.
Tinsel. And that wraps up our spoiler
Yes.
episode of Black Panther, which you should definitely go see. Thank you guys for coming out and watching that, making that a thing for us. And, get out there, hit like, hit subscribe, watch us on YouTube. We're on iTunes. We're on Instagram. We are on Twitter sometimes.
He's been slacking.
Yeah, ISO's been slacking. I had to see Black Panther. So you can do that. But thank you. I'm Justin with an I.
I'm Justen with an E.
And you have been watching our spoiler episode of Black Panther.
You've been watching something about episode.
You've been watching that. So get out there and watch out for Yukon Cornelius.
Silver, gold.